Hi kids. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what we practiced a couple of videos back where I didn't talk. It was the no practice mouth practice, which if you were not in Master Zhang's class might not make sense to you, but when he caught us talking too much, he would say, "Too much practice a mouth," and then he'd say, "You practice a taigi." So that was the no practice mouth practice. At any rate, I wanted to talk about what my thought processes were regarding what I was doing with my arms. And I hope you made some discoveries on your own. That's what we're doing here is using these movements to make our own discoveries that are relevant to us at this moment in time. So having the arms together, the hands clasped, and keeping the palms together is what in Feldenkrais vernacular is known as a constraint. So within this framework, what can you do if your hands are literally tied? So if you bring your elbows together, well, that might not be easy for you. A couple of months ago, I couldn't do it. I was shocked. But I kept playing with different movements of the elbows and hands, and now it's very easy. But it does require you to reorganize your chest and to open your back and to allow the shoulder blades to slide around the ribs. So bringing the elbows closer together also sort of drives your hands upwards towards your face. So just come to where it's a comfortable place going up. We'll just focus on going up for now. So how far up can you bring your hands in front of your face, and how close together do your elbows go? Maybe they go together, maybe they don't, but just go to where you're not striving. This is very important. This is very important, both in Feldenkrais work and in the Tai Chi work. If you strive, you are overriding your learning mechanism, and the organic change that we're looking for will have a difficult time taking root. So we want to nurture the body, not force the plant, like it's like pulling on a plant to make it grow faster. That doesn't work. It's going to grow in its own time when the conditions are right. So create the right condition, the fertilizer in your brain and your nervous system, by going gently and listening to what's easy. Now, do you sink? I realize I am sinking, but are you sinking as you're bringing your elbows closer together and your hands are coming more in front of your face? So listen to what's happening with your chest. Listen to what's happening with your chest. As the hands go up, the chest starts to come together. You start to close the chest. And you might notice that at a certain point, there's an invitation for the qua to bend, the knees to bend, and the ankles to bend. And they all bend together. That's part of it's actually part of a reflex mechanism that humans have, and other animals as well. So here you go, a little bit of sinking. What if you put one leg forward in a forward back stance and bring your hands in front? Now you can play with the weight forward or back. So let's say we go forward and we bring the elbows closer together. So now in this position with having one leg forward, what happens with your pelvis? What happens with your rib cage? And what happens if you press your palms together and bring them in front of you clasped and turn a bit towards your back leg? So it's like begging for forgiveness, right? Begging for mercy. A potent and meaningful posture. Now listen to the timing that happens with sinking and turning. In Tai Chi, we want to sink and then turn, not turn and then sink. Okay, so listen for that. It's might be very subtle. So you're sinking, and then there's a place where the hip can the pelvis freely swings into the front hip ball, the ball of the joint. And you're coming back, you're sinking, and then you can finish the turn. Forward, sinking, and that allows you to finish the turn. Because I'm already sunk, I can turn, but as my hands reach the front of my chest, I feel that I can sink a little more. Maybe you feel that as well. So there's a place where the movement finishes. And then you go, keep moving, and you feel, I cannot sink anymore. I am grounded, I am turned, I am ready to step back, to kick, to change my weight, because we have the principle of head leading upwards, and we're light on our feet, but grounded at the same time. Okay, let's try a few on the other side. So bring your other leg forward, comfortable forward back stance, point your knee forward, bring your hands to clasp in front of you, and just press them together as you transfer your weight to the back leg and feel how you organize yourself on top of that side of your pelvis. And then bringing the elbows together, turning towards your front leg, begging for forgiveness, asking for mercy. But now if you bring your elbows more together, is that forcing? Then don't do that. Don't force it. Feel what you do, how you close and change the shape of your rib cage. Feel when you finish the sink, and feel how your chest is organized. How the chest must sink in order for the quad to sink. Not too much, then you start to collapse. And you have to be very, very good to be able to withstand a force coming at you if you go outside of your own boundaries. Okay, so that's one piece I wanted to talk about. The other thing that we did was we were turning with the hands staying in front of the face and the elbows comfortably close to each other, not necessarily together. Let's change the interlacing of the fingers so that the other, what is habitual, now non-habitual. Oh, that's something for the brain to pay attention to. So now if you bring your hands comfortably in front of your face, elbows comfortably close together, keep your hands there. Actually, let's attach them to the forehead. Boom. And then turn the structure to the right and to the left. So now we're turning the whole body as a unit, and we've made close the chain here and close the chain here. So which side might you turn easiest towards? Maybe they're the same. Bring the hands more in front, a little more away from you. Sink the chest and turn again. So now you're sitting down a little bit. So what did that change? Could you put one thumb on your nose, and as you turn towards that hand, help your ribs soften and turn with the other hand. You can gently encourage your ribs to turn. Like pressing on a basket. In German, the word for rib cage is actually rib basket. Try the other side. So, now what is happening in your two hip joints as you're turning? Are they doing the same thing, or do they do something different? Just something to watch for. So now, let's take a cloud hand. Find a comfortable place to sit. And take a cloud hand and pattern your ribs, shape your ribs. So you help yourself turn. Now, the hand. Yes, this lesson. Hopefully you did the lesson that I attached to the practice session a couple of videos ago that have to do with the elbow and the wrist and the shoulder and the chest. So now, ribs. Ribs. This will help you not lean. You help your rib cage turn like you're a barrel turning. Try the other side. Find the elbows forward, the chest sinking, the shape of the arm, and then soften your ribs. Soften your ribs. Take doubles. And think of an imaginary hand helping your ribs turn, your body turn as a unit. And now slow it down. Penny dropping through a jar of honey. So listen, breathe easily and freely. let's take White Snake Presents the Fruit. No. White Ape Presents the Fruit. Sorry, wrong animal. This white snake in the form. Flicks the tongue. But White Ape Presents the Fruit. So, what is similar about this movement? What might you have learned about this organization for this movement? So we bring the hands forward on a trajectory of about 45 degrees. And again, here is this angle. The fingers are alive. It's like there's energy coming out of every fingertip. So what happens with your chest, your pelvis, as you gather? Bring the edges of the hands together. What is driving the hands forward? Is it the leg? Is it the chest and the shoulders? Is it your waist? The head is light and free, and you're grounded. Like a bellows. You can search for the feeling there. And there's the posture. Forward. Open, breathe. Sink. Now here, like a bellows. And then you're going forward. What happens? Here you can expand. Breathe in, belly in, chest wide, ribs wide. Relax, set yourself down on the ground, and then close. You can check yourself. Sometimes it's easy to overshoot. So if your hands go beyond your foot, let's do that a couple of times intentionally. Bring your hands beyond your foot and feel what happens in the rest of you. So there's a number of options. If someone were pulling you, you could follow in the form. How do we get out of this movement? We have to move forward. Something is pulling us up. But there's a point of no return, so you can play in that space and find out where is your edge. I'll give you a clue. When your breathing changes, when you hold your breath, you've gone over your limits. So it's good to become very familiar and comfortable in that place. So here's home. You want to stay safe. If you were to go further, then you might need to change something. Let's try the other side. So find your So these movements are just little tools to sort of help you find, help your body find, help you find how do you organize within this constraint. So now you've set yourself down on the ground and you can condense. You gather your energy, you get full. Now offer the peach. As the trajectory of your arms goes forward and up on the diagonal, what's happening? Now check body organization. Don't struggle. Don't try to force. Forcing becomes a habit that's very difficult to get out of. And it makes the mind rigid. So, soft hands open the mind. So here you could fly. You could fly here. You're up. You're lifted. You could fly backwards. Set down. Condense. Go too far. Feel the response in yourself when you take the hands beyond your feet. So what starts to happen? Maybe your back heel starts to come up. Maybe you start to feel tension in the ankle, in the thigh. Maybe your knee starts to flash warning signals. What if you go too far here? Back onto the heels. Forward into the front of the foot. Back into the heel. Just to feel that edge. Forward. See, the breathing, it changes. Now breathe easy and free. Okay, take a rest. Now let's just take cloud hands again and see if anything has changed in that quality after exploring the ribs. Let's just take the cloud hands again. How easy and free, grounded and light, smooth. Do you have a sense of your rib cage or your rib basket turning and changing its shape, knitting itself around your central axis of support, your spine, which is also turning? What does your chest do here? Take a rest. And even here, when do you feel your chest starting to sink? At what point? Where are your hands relative to your chest, your torso, as your chest starts to sink? Release the back. Release the back of the neck. Measure through your fingertips. You can equalize the forces in your torso with this movement. Just drawing the hands down to the knees lightly, and then measure. Right, like this. Okay. One more thing. Try how the elbows go closer together now. Now, if you raise the arms more, when does the chest get dragged along? You're going to raise the arms up a bit in front of the face until you feel your chest start to lift a little bit. And then pressing the heels of the hands together, sink. So the elbows, yes, the elbows are dragging the ribs. Elbows do not have to come together. It might even be easier not to. Listen to the chest. Elbows dragging the chest. Chest dragging the elbows. Elbows dragging the chest. Wide. Tall. Sink. So that, ideally, in our first movement, which is in the plane of the wheel, the plane of the wheel is the plane of symmetry. So we have a chance to measure right and left, inside the body, right and left, in the spine, right and left, through the hip joints, and how the arms and the chest, the elbows, without going so much that you bring yourself into, and absolutely play with that edge. So where is it up? And notice, the minute you start to tense up, your breathing is going to change. It's going to stop. So all you have to do is keep your breathing easy. And these changes, this whip-like movement that's in the spine, this wave, happens around a central axis, but it eventually becomes so small that it's hard to distinguish unless you have a very trained eye. And it does not disturb the upright axis. So you can play with how big disturbs the upright axis. Ah, that feels good, right? It feels good. And for some things you want to be unstable. The Tai Chi, you can play. How can you maintain your uprightness and your freedom without sacrificing too much? Okay, that's enough. Take a break.